Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Now earlier today I made a video called Why I Finally Love Being a Content Creator Again. And I decided to do this one as well because in a way they kind of go hand in hand. Now for me, most people who follow this channel know that when I went to Amazon, I was already semi-retired in my small business, working 20, 25 hours a week. And I spent a lot of my time doing a lot of camping, a lot of what I call backpack travel, which basically was, as soon as I saved $1,000, I would take a mini vacation. And in order to make it all affordable, I would stay at 5-star hostels. And for those of you who didn't know that a 5-star hostel even existed, well, they do. There's actually one in Miami, as well as Philadelphia, and quite a few other places as well. But the real deals are in Europe. And I decided I wanted to go to Europe. So I took the job for, I guess, peak only, Christmas only at Amazon. And it worked perfectly with my little mini schedule from my business. But I stayed too long. You know, because here I am going, damn, this is great. You know, suck up the 40 hours a week from Amazon, plus the little 20, 25 hours a week from the business. I'm going to make bank. And actually I did. And everything in my life changed. So here's the thing. I hated my life at that point. I mean, I felt stuck. It was the only time in my life I felt stuck. And I'm going to tell you, it was the most stressful thing I ever did in my life. If it wasn't for the fact that they paid us out the, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I couldn't really quit. What am I do? Live in my car? But at least that made it a little bit more bearable. But for a couple of years, it stressed me so bad. Psychologically, it took a toll on me. One, I had never had a job that I hated because I had always owned my own business for like 25 years. I never had a job where somebody else told me what to do and they were stupid as shit. I don't know any other way to say it. I never had a job where it was so disorganized, masquerading as fast-paced, that I hated going to work every day. But when I started doing the Amazon videos, I told myself I would be honest about the conditions. And I was not going to let my personal feelings get in the way of showing you and telling you exactly how things were. The real problem I had was it was hard for me to let go of the freedom and the autonomy that I had as an independent contractor. And because I had an inability to just go with the flow, I basically made myself sick. I mean, that's how I ended up with rheumatoid arthritis, being stressed, plus the hours and not being able to sleep. So now I'm sleep deprived. It was just so many things on top of another that, quite frankly, rheumatoid arthritis is something a lot of people have deep inside, but it takes triggers for it to come to the surface. And unfortunately, because I just was so mad about the way everything was going, that I basically developed all the triggers and it came to the surface. So what made me decide to start liking my job? I guess you could say at Amazon, I grew the fuck up. Everything is not going to be the way you want it to be. Everything is not going to be done the way you think it should be done. There comes a point where you have to Because in my case, even when kind of went away, and I was able, if I wanted to find another job, there were so many bonuses for staying there that once I made the conscious decision to stay, then I was able to let go of all the resentments. But most of the resentments came when I felt like I had no choice. That's what really bothered me. I grew up and I made a conscious decision that I would stay at Amazon for as long as they had me. And at that point, it just seems like I realized I really had a whole lot more freedom than I thought I had. Just like I had the freedom to say no. If someone asked me to do something, my main job is to pack singles. Things like hazmat or rebin or or multis, or taping, that's not my main job. The only job I have to do is the job I got hired to do. I could say no to everything else because basically those are side quests. So once I realized that, I started saying no. Sometimes the leadership would have this bad habit of moving you. You would get to work, you'd be in your station, you get it stocked so you can, get your day started. And then after lunch, you come back and you look at the board, and it turns out they moved you. And when I say moved you, it's not like they moved you, 2 lines down or to a different job task. They would move you to the same line you were in the next station, and then put somebody in your station, which used to frustrate the crap out of me. Once I realized I could say, I ain't moving. Unless you're going to shut this line down, I'm not moving. Once I realized I could say that, and it was okay, all of a sudden I realized I had a whole lot more freedom than I thought I could have. I think the main thing with corporations is, and sometimes it's not even the corporation, sometimes it's your manager or your leadership who are also employees of the corporation, who try to get you to do things because it's in their best interest to make them look good. Once I realized what I was obligated to do and what I wasn't, I started just saying no to a whole bunch of shit. And once they realized I meant it when I said no, and they really realized that, quite frankly, they didn't have the right to ask me, then they stopped doing it. And so now, at this point, I've been at Amazon almost 5 years. I don't move unless you shut down the line. Now, if you need me to tape, I'll do that for you. But the rest of the stuff, I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do a job that I haven't done in 5 months and put myself at risk for being written up because I'm not doing it fast enough. Why would I do that? Ask somebody else. And you know what? They do. Once I realized I had rights and I still had the freedom to say no, then all of a sudden, the fact that I was angry about being stuck there and being, there's a word I want to say and I can't think of it. I'm sure it'll pop in my head, a little later. But I was able to let go all of that negativity that I had deep down inside about my job. Because really the problem wasn't my job. The problem were supervisors and managers and leadership. Because they are people just like everybody else. And they are willing to do whatever they have to do to make themselves look good for the company. And if it includes putting you at risk or sacrificing you so they look good, they are willing to do that. So once you figure out you do not have to go along with that, then all of a sudden, your job's not so stressful. All of a sudden, you realize you do have quite a bit of freedom. And so that's how all of a sudden, I say the last 6 months, 8 months, I realized how much I love my job. Because I was able to separate what my job is from the bullshit that my leadership wanted me to do. Trust me, if my saying no was something I didn't have a right to say, I would not still be there. That's how I started loving my job. Making sure that the things that were my job, I do well. And the things that weren't my job, I'm like, you know what, find yourself another fool. Because it's not going to be Sheila. I love my job. Take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.